Welcome back to our Heart Sutra teachings this week. Hope you've all been well wherever you are in the world. Sending you all the love at whatever time zone. Right here it's evening, but wherever you are, whatever time it is, I hope you are all well. So today we're going to go through the center part, the meatiest part of the Heart Sutra today. Emptiness is form. Form is emptiness. What does that mean? And how can we see that in the world around us directly in our lives? That is what we hope to achieve today. So to create the causes for this realization to dawn within our mind streams, we are going to first take refuge, create great compassion, generate great compassion for the entire world, supplicate the lineage blessings from the Drikung Kagyu and the Nyingma lineages, and then listen with an open heart for this realization to dawn for all sentient beings, not just ourselves, but this to become a realization that all sentient beings have. We are going to ourselves both present this teaching and consume this teaching with a mind towards all sentient beings, so that this realization that form is emptiness and emptiness is form will really enter our hearts. So I'm not going to talk too much about, again, the opening prayers like last week. I'm not going to talk too much about the meanings of those. If you're new this week, welcome. Look back a couple of videos if you have any questions about these prayers. These prayers, no matter who you are, no matter what spirituality you're from, there is a way to view these prayers in a way that works for you. I talk about that in a few videos back, but I don't have time. This is the meatiest part to talk about that today. So I hope that you stay with us and that you try to follow along with these introductory prayers. So first we're going to take refuge, and we're going to recite that refuge prayer we've recited in the past 3 times. I take refuge in the Buddha. I take refuge in the Dharma. I take refuge in the Sangha. I take refuge in the Buddha. I take refuge in the Dharma. I take refuge in the Sangha. I take refuge in the Buddha. I take refuge in the Dharma. I take refuge in the Sangha. Now we're going to generate great compassion, and we're going to bring that into this teaching. May all mother sentient beings, limitless as space, have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they never be separated from the happiness that is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion. May all mother sentient beings, limitless as space, have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they never be separated from the happiness that is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion. May all mother sentient beings, limitless as space, have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they never be separated from the happiness that is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion. Now we're going to supplicate our Kagyu lineage. I beseech the great Vajradhara, Talopa, Naropa, Marpa, Milarepa, Dharma Lord Kilmpopa, Pakma Drupa, and Lord Trikumpa at the feet of the root guru, who possesses the 3 ways of kindness, and all the root gurus and spiritual masters of lineage, the yidams and dharma protectors. May your marvelous blessings permeate our minds. Now the Nyingma Hung on the northwest border of the country, Odhyana on the pollen heart of a lotus flower, the marvelous supreme accomplishment has been attained. You are renowned as the lotus born, surrounded by a retinue of many dakinis. Following you to be like you, I beseech you to come and bless me. Guru Padma Siddhi Hum. And now directly all of our teachers, all of this energy, this guru energy. Lama, care for me. Lama, care for me. Oh, Lama, care for me. Lama, care for us. Lama, care for us. O Lama, care for us. Now, let us bring our attention back to the present. Rest. Rest. Bring our minds to all sentient beings. Remember, this realization dawned for the Buddha of compassion, the great Bodhisattva, Avalokiteshvara. This is what we need. We need this great compassion. We need to generate this great compassion within our hearts for us to realize emptiness. And so, as we listen and as we teach, as the interdependence occurs around us wherever we are, as distractions arise and descend, let us generate great compassion continuously. This teaching is not for us. It's not for me individually. This is for the universe. This is for all sentient beings. And with that, we can seize the stronghold of realization of emptiness. We can realize, with this motivation of compassion, what the Bodhisattva, Mahasattva, Avalokiteshvara realized. That is what we are aspiring to do here together right now. To realize this with all of the blessings from the Buddhas, the lineage, the primordial nature of reality. That is what we are going to be doing here for the next 53 minutes or something like that. So similar to other teachings, I'm going to read this entire next paragraph. I might not get through the entire thing in the next 53 minutes, so we might have to break it into two parts, and that's okay. But we're going to get to the meat and the detail. We're going to get to a lot of the detail, but some of the detail we might have to break up into a couple segments. But we'll see. We'll see how much we get through. So again, we're following the Sutra of the Heart of the Glorious Lady Prajñāpāramitā. That is the title. That is the virtue, the purity in the beginning. The middle is we are going through the text. That is virtue and purity in the middle. This text can be found at Garchin.net. If you go to their blue prayer book, it's right there. There's a lot of translations of this particular sutra, but that's the translation I am using. Here is the paragraph. So again, bring your mind back to this present with this aspiration of love as you receive these words. Noble Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, said to Venerable Shariputra, O Shariputra, a son of noble family or daughter of noble family who wishes to practice the profound Prajñāpāramitā should see in this way. They see the 5 skandhas to be empty of nature. Form is emptiness. Emptiness also is form. Emptiness is no other than form. Form is no other than emptiness. In the same way, feeling, discrimination, formation, and consciousness are emptiness. Thus, Shariputra, all phenomena are emptiness, without characteristics, without arising, without ceasing, without stain, not without stain, without decrease, and without increase. Therefore, Shariputra, in emptiness there is no form, no feeling, no discrimination, no formation, no consciousness, no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no form, no sound, no smell, no taste, no tangible object, no phenomenon, no I dhatu up to no mind dhatu, no dhatu of phenomena, no mental consciousness dhatu, no ignorance, no termination of ignorance, up to no aging and death, and no termination of aging and death, no suffering, no origin, no cessation, no path, no wisdom, no attainment, and no non-attainment. There you go. There you go. Yep. 100%. So let's go through each line. So Noble Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, said to Venerable Shariputra, okay. So to remind us from last week, the Noble Avalokiteshvara we can view in a few different ways. It's either the Buddha of compassion, who's possibly in a light form body that that Shariputra can experience through his pure view. He also could be taking the form of a human, possibly, or some sort of other creature, sentient being. You can view this in a variety of different ways based on how open you are to Buddhist cosmology, how much realization you have. But these types of distinctions don't fully matter, as we just saw. So whatever way you want to view this. But the Mahasattva, Bodhisattva Mahasattva Avalokiteshvara is the Buddha of compassion. That is what he is. And so whatever form he is taking, that is the Bodhisattva Mahasattva. The Bodhisattva Mahasattva has reached the ultimate attainment as a Bodhisattva. There is almost no distinction between him and the Buddha himself. And actually, in terms of total view, they are indistinguishable in the highest mind state. So, but it's the compassion aspect that we are accessing here by calling him by his name, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Avalokiteshvara. So that is compassion. Shariputra is a monk. We've talked about him last week. Shariputra and his devotion and his renunciation and his path to realizing impermanence, that he will eventually die. And so he went and followed the Buddha because he realizes that he can't take anything with him. No fame, no glory, no wealth, nothing. So he followed the Buddha. He renounced samsara. He renounced worldly gain, worldly concern to follow the Buddha. And now he is, through that renunciation, the devotion that he has towards the Buddha, that has enabled him to be empowered to speak and ask this question to the Bodhisattva Mahasattva. All of this, again, I'm going to bring this back so we all have this context. If you haven't watched the other two sessions, this is happening within our minds. It's all our minds right now, right here. You looking at me looking at this camera, and looking around. This is all the mind. All mind. It's happening within the mind. It's not happening anywhere else. It's all happening within, what I think a lot of people would describe as consciousness. There's a conscious aspect, but it's the mind. Everything, every form, everything that we've ever experienced is all happening within this mind. The mind that we call ourselves. Oh yeah, it's me, my mind. Okay. But that mind, everything has happened to. Everything is experienced through this mind. So that's the context as well. So these, this Bodhisattva, this Shariputra fellow, these are names of stories within our minds. So we view this is a story for our minds. We need to look within our minds. This isn't just a story about the past. It's a story about right now. This is a story about our minds. This is what we can access right here and right now, is our minds. If we let this realization break through, we can really see clearly our own minds. So that's That's the context. So Noble Avateshvara Bodhisattva Mahasava said to Venerable Shariputra, O Shariputra, son of noble family or daughter of noble family who wishes to practice the profound Prajñāpāramitā should see in this way. Okay, again, as we talked about last week, a son of noble family or daughter of noble family has a lot of meaning associated. And if you want to go into that a little bit more, we talked about that last week. But for those that either don't have that time or we don't have the time really also to go through that in a lot of detail since we went through that already. Bring to mind compassion. That's all you need. You want to be a son or daughter of noble family. You want to actually realize this. That's all we have to foster, compassion. Once we have compassion for all sentient beings, or we are increasing our compassion more and more and more and more, that's what we need to recognize and remember, recall, but not just remember and recall, but realize so deeply that we know in any circumstance that they see, that we see, the 5 skandhas are empty of nature. The 5 skandhas are empty of nature. We've talked about this a little bit already, but that's the 5 sense objects, that's the 5 senses, and that's all the objects of the senses. So right now, we are experiencing everything you are listening to through the 5 senses. You're hearing it, you're seeing it potentially. You're hearing and seeing it potentially, to be honest with you. Some of you might not have some of these sense objects, or sensory faculties, and that's okay. But these sense faculties are what human beings can sense. So we have all of those 5 senses. And I'll go through them again just cause. So when I mention each one, bring them to mind, recognize, oh, they're empty of nature. Sight, everything you're seeing, empty of nature. Hearing, everything you hear, empty of nature. Touch, everything you sense through touch, both inward and outward, empty of nature. So inward touching is inward feeling, the feeling touch. You feel it inside, but also you feel all sorts of organ things. Yeah, empty of nature. Smell, empty of nature. Taste, empty of nature. Now, what is empty of nature? Well, we're going to get into that. Form is emptiness. Emptiness also is form. Emptiness is no other than form. Form is no other than emptiness. There's a lot of ways to talk about emptiness. I'm not going to talk exhaustively about emptiness because it would take infinite time. I don't have infinite time, apparently. But this is an introduction because emptiness is the lifelong journey. To recognize emptiness is to recognize everything. If emptiness is no other than form, then every single form, even the ones that you've never seen before, are emptiness. Recognizing every single form, even those that you've never seen before, as emptiness is basically the exhaustive list of emptiness. To call something emptiness or empty of nature and to have never experienced before, how could I possibly even talk about it? I've never seen, the Martian landscape up close, right? So if I was standing on on Mars, spacesuit or not, and I had that moment of actually experiencing Mars up close and personal, there's a bunch of associations I have, I guess, with Earth, But in that moment, it's empty of nature. It's empty of nature, which means that that's a component of emptiness, quote unquote, component. But that's meaningless, as we just have kind of highlighted. Emptiness doesn't have any components. It's just empty. Now, some people, when they hear emptiness, get kind of feeling like this is nihilism. They're like, oh, it means it's nothing. No, it doesn't mean it's nothing. It's no other. The something is no other than the emptiness. But the emptiness is no other in the something. So I can't tell you all about the emptiness if I haven't experienced literally every atom of every universe. Because even those atoms of the other universes are empty. And emptiness is no other than them. Now, this can get a little bit like, whoa, mind-blowing, wow, what is he even saying? It doesn't really matter, though, that I'm talking about all these, fathomless aspects to the emptiness. Because whatever you experience, again, we're in our own minds, right? The 5 skandhas are empty of nature. So it means whatever you experience, new, old, present, past, memories, future imagining, are empty. All of it, empty. Continuously empty. So it means, this emptiness means that it doesn't have a quality. Now, I'm going to approach emptiness in a few different ways to help make sense of what emptiness, the experience of emptiness, feels like, to a degree. Because it's hard to understand. We haven't recognized it. So, everything's transient. Everything's impermanent. On a momentary level, every single moment is passing. That means that as I'm speaking to you, even if you are in this room with me, sitting right here next to me, and I'm telling you what I'm telling you, form is emptiness, emptiness is form. There's a delay. There's a delay even from the imagining that I'm about to say that to it coming out of my mind, out of my mouth. And that delay makes everything an echo. Everything's an echo. Because there's a delay of experience. What I am experiencing is actually moments past already. So I can't possibly fixate to it because by the time it actually enters my mind, that moment has passed already. Completely. It's gone. Once you realize how quick impermanence is, you start slicing and slicing and slicing these moments, these individual moments. Everything is so transient, you can't possibly access the reality of it. Not in your hearing, not in your sight. Everything isn't real. It's not real because from a transient, impermanent perspective, it's delayed. Not only is it delayed, so not only is whatever you're experiencing past already, but also even the experience that you receive is passing. So it has a passingness to it. So as it's passing, it just continuously passes, No matter what I do here, if I just, sit quietly or talk endlessly, the moments pass on their own. So whatever I'm experiencing is from the past, and then even the present of what I would have been experiencing if I wasn't experiencing the past is actually passing. And the future that I'm imagining never actually manifests to me. I never actually even access it, both because of these issues. I never, ever experience the future. I experience just an echo of the present. And even the present is entirely passing constantly. So that's part 1 of emptiness. That means everything. My thoughts, my feelings, my senses, everything is in their nature in that state of echo-like and passing. Like a mirage. It's like a mirage. It's like smoke on mirrors. My mind reifies. My mind says it's real. My mind says that it's present. My mind acts like it is. I interact with things as if they're still present, as if they are not echoes, as if they're not mirages. But they are. They've always been. They always will be. Everything is like that. That's part one. And that's something that is objectively true. You can tell that to anybody. You could have scientists look into it, and all the scientists would be like, yeah, that's true, yeah. But still they would say, things like, well, we're, creating patterns, and there's an order to these things and whatever. Yeah, okay, sure, there's orders to the mirage. Sure, okay. Orders to the mirage, yeah. There's order to, causes and effects about the mirage, but it's still a mirage. And my mind is actually believing it's not. We don't think that this is an echo. We don't think that what you see isn't anything other than the absolute present. We think it's the absolute present, but it's much more like watching a TV that's like a couple seconds delayed, and you're seeing the people's voices. They don't match up perfectly to how they're speaking, and you're like, oh, it's like kind of annoying. But that's actually more the way that reality is, in what we're getting into our brain stems, I guess. Is that it's much more like that. We're getting delayed information. And then also it is just incredibly passing. Like it's instantly gone. Even though we get this kind of, again, this delayed feedback information, it's gone immediately. Boom. It's the next moment. It's so instantly past already. But you try, and we do. We endlessly try to grip it. Like, oh, that was a really interesting thing that happened. I saw a snake on the road, or I saw, a crazy thing 2 seconds ago, but it's gone. The experience is gone immediately. The snake slithers out into the bushes, and it's gone. I mean, so the experience is so fleeting, we don't get to stay in it. And even if we try to create experiences that are stable and like we're just doing the same thing, if you actually watch, you just test this. Try to go sit on a chair and enjoy the 5 minutes of sitting on a chair. You will find that there will be distraction that just appears out of nowhere in that 5 minutes. I mean, maybe you're lucky and it's not really like me. So 10 minutes, 20 minutes, you will find that there is some sort of distractions that appear. Like one moment there's a bird in your view and then it disappears. And the next moment someone calls you, or the door opens and shuts, or the wind kind of causes something, or a bug comes out of nowhere. Yeah, all the time. There's not, even if you thought, oh, my vacation is going to be this really relaxing time, or we're going to have a really good family moment when you have, a family holiday where everyone gets together. Try to measure how much time everyone is actually having that good moment. And you'll see it's so transient, it almost completely doesn't exist. Now, that doesn't mean that things aren't happening, apparently. Sure, there's apparent things happening, but you'll start to see that they're empty. That your vision of, oh, I have this vision of my mind of this family moment. We're all sitting there, eating the food, and we're looking at each other, and we're like, oh, that's so great. But actually what's happening is each person sitting around there is consumed in their own thoughts. And there's like a moment here, a moment there of actually real connection that you have. Even right now, how many thoughts have you had in the last 5 minutes since I started talking? Lots, right? Sometimes we're engaged, sometimes we're not engaged. Sometimes we're thinking, oh, I got pauses, I got to go to the bathroom, oh, I got stuff to do, right? So all of that's empty. It's kind of hinting, it's showing us that things are so transient that our expectations, our fixating mind, doesn't work. And so the thing that we do oftentimes is that we fixate, and we use these words. We use, now it says, all phenomena are emptiness without characteristics. We use characteristics We pause it. In our minds, we pause it. We put things, oh, this was a good experience. Oh, that was a weird experience. Oh, that was a great, oh, that's this. For example, this is like a block for yoga. This is blue, right? This is not blue. Blue, not blue. So empty. This is empty. Yet, we don't see it that way. What we see is we fixate to, oh, this has permanence. And then when I put it down here, oh, it's still there. Oh, see, it's there. It's just off screen. We say, ha, 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 ha. Is it? It's empty. If you're not looking at it, it's gone. What if you never see it again? Isn't that a problem for us? Yeah, it is, because we fixate. What if this was a diamond ring? Now, it's not, right? This is something I truly do not care about. I mean, I guess maybe I do, though. I don't even know. Now that I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh, I do care. This has helped me in the past, right? Now I'm not remembering emptiness at all. But if I remember that I might not ever see it again because of the nature of transience, and I remember everything is like that, then I'm starting to access this emptiness thing. Form is emptiness. I can let go. Emptiness is like a letting go. I can let go. It is in a constant state of let go. The mind, right? This is all happening in the mind. It is in a state of letting go. It is in a state that's already let go. That is empty. Transience. Once we are in the present transience, then everything just flows freely. We don't grab onto anything. It just flows. Our bodies will eventually decay. Everything eventually passes by, and it's empty. But still, we're interacting with all of it. Even though it's empty, here we are, looking at things. I have a different shirt on today. Right? It's still form, still apparent, still appears, but it's meaningless. It's meaningless. Because it's an echo and it's transient. So all of our fixating and gripping to it is really a losing battle. But we'd still like to do that. It's fun for us, so we just do it continuously. Right? Okay. There's a second part. Second part of emptiness. This is a harder part. What we just talked about with transience is a little easier. And it's a little easier because it doesn't require as much from our own minds, per se. We can see it. Everyone will agree with us. But one thing I can assure you is that every form you've ever experienced has just been displayed within the mind of yourself. Every single form. Your mother, right? Some of you may not know your mothers, but whoever your best friend or guardian person was when you were a child, your most favorite things in the world, all been experienced through your mind. That mind, if you were to remove all of these sense objects, is empty. And thoughts and feelings. You just remove everything. Remove it all. Wipe it. Close your eyes. Wipe all the thoughts. Wipe all the feelings. Wipe all the memories. You wipe it all. What do you got? Wipe all the personality. Wipe all the me. Wipe the me, which is just another thought, really, about yourself. So all the concerns, all that kind of stuff that repeats, just wipe it, right? Wipe it for 2 minutes. Wipe it for 1 minute. Wipe it for 30 seconds. Wipe it for 10. Wipe it for 5. Wipe it. If you wipe it, it's empty. Totally empty. There's nothing that you can say about it. No quality. There's nothing there. You look at it, there's nothing there. And you say, oh, well, yeah, of course, you wiped everything out. There's nothing in my mind. Well, okay. But like everything else that you're looking at is just reflected in your mind. So everything that you've ever experienced in your whole life, that you're experiencing currently, is just reflected in your own mind. So if it's only accessible in that mind, then it must be empty, because that mind is empty of nature. So why is this so real to you? It's all in your own mind. But we say, no, this is real. It's stable. It's real. It's stable. Well, I just penetrated the stability part. It's not stable. It's transient. All the time transient. And it's an echo of transience. And then secondly it is all within your own head. All within your own mind. So... And there hasn't been one point in your whole life that hasn't been all the things you've ever learned in your own mind. In that mind, when you wipe everything away, when you wipe all of that away, you wipe all your senses away, it's empty. So what did the Noble Avalokiteshvara recognize? He recognized that mind is empty. But if that mind is empty and everything you experience is in that mind, that must be empty too. It is. That must just be parts of that mind. That must just be mind facets or mind. That must all just be mind. Whoa, a second, it must all be mind. But that mind doesn't have any characteristics. That means that everything is like that. Everything is empty. Everything is like that mind. But we don't think this. We don't think this because we fixate to our individual minds. We think, oh, no, this is my mind. I'm in this case, I'm Chris. This is my mind. I'm Chris. My experience is mine. Not your experience. This is my experience. And this is real. Because I'm experiencing it. And you look at your own mind, there's nothing there. And so, other than all this form, So form is emptiness, emptiness is form. Yeah, you have all this form, but it's transient and illusory and not stable. And it's all just existing in your mind, where there's not even a foundation of that mind other than all of the form that you see. And all of the form that you see doesn't stabilize the mind at all. Doesn't actually do anything to the mind. You add all of this form together and it doesn't affect the fact that there's literally no stability in that mind. You remove everything, you wipe it clear. What does that look like? Oh, it's like space, maybe. It's an ineffability, actually. It's empty. The best thing we can say about it is it's empty. So we're getting closer. We're getting closer to this. Emptiness is form, form is emptiness. The part, though, that's interesting is this part of that, the Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva. Why is love needed? What? Well, because when I look at my mind and you look at your mind, whose mind are we looking at? If you fixate to a me, if you think that it's me, then it's always just so limited to your own mind. It's very small. All of the form, all of the emptiness, all the transience is just your mind. You don't have the capacity to actually see that there are no boundaries to this mind. There's never been a boundary to it. There's no boundaries between minds. Sure, yeah, okay, well, this person over here, obviously you have a person come in here, you put them here, hey, what are you thinking about right now? They'd be like, I don't know, what do I have for dinner tonight? Yum, yum. I want some pizza or something, you know? I'm not thinking that, they're thinking that. You know, you have your thoughts, I have my thoughts. Well, we can't, it's all the same mind, we say. It's not just one mind, right? No, we all have these individual minds, we say. Uh-huh. We're saying so it must be true. Just as like we're saying that everything is so stable. Just like we're saying that everything's not an echo, but everything is an echo. We're thinking that everything is more permanent than it is, and it's very transient. We know that. So then, why are we thinking that this empty mind is having a border between me and you? Because of our experience of speaking to each other? Is that why we think that? Because you're you over there and I'm me over here, and when I speak to you, you have one experience and I have another experience. We think, we project. I project onto you that experience. You project onto me that experience. That's what we're doing. We're projecting. Oh yes, this other person has this experience just like me, yada, yada, yada. And when you love, you get really intimate with that kind of projection, actually. You love, that projection actually starts to become a little bit more correct, oddly. Really, really love somebody. Really love them. You're in love with them. I don't mean in love with them romantically. I mean in love with them for just who they are. You study them out of love. Not study them out of, some sort of objectification. No, you just love them. Suddenly you get into this relationship. You learn their favorite things. But where do you learn that? You don't even think like it's hard to learn it. It doesn't feel hard to learn it. You're not even probably jotting it down anywhere. You just know it. You just know what they like. You just know it. Because you love them. Because you would do anything for them. And because of this love that you have for them, you are so attentive to their minds. You're so attentive to their wishes, to their hopes, their fears. You know what that is inside of them. Where do you know that? How do you know that? You know that intrinsically. You know that in your heart, in your mind, naturally. So that's form that's appeared out of this emptiness. Somehow, you know it about someone else because of your love. Now, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva has perfect love, expansive love, all-encompassing love, all-permeating love. So the Bodhisattva Mahasattva knows intrinsically what will make you feel better. Knows intrinsically what's in your mind and can help you. You can gain this same power with love. Then you'll see, oh boy, this nature of my mind, this form is emptiness, emptiness is form thing is way more vast than I ever thought possible. There's no Chris. That's my name. There's no that person. In this mind, that mind permeates everyone. That mind is the mind of pure emptiness and form, permeating everyone, offering them a helping hand, offering them a solution to all of their heart's wishes. Now we're starting to get into Buddha nature. Now we're starting to get into the nature of the mind. Without boundaries, without borders. Now, for some of us, we can think, oh, wow, that sounds really far out. That sounds really wild. But it's not that wild. Because it's just your mind. Your mind is the limiting factor. It's also the factor that can accomplish this. The only thing that's limiting it is your view. If you're viewing yourself, if I view myself, I will tell you, I will not be able to talk about this because I won't know it to be true at all. I won't love you. I will think about myself. And in myself, I'll be very small-minded. I will see borders of my mind. I'll be like, well, yes, this is my mind, and I have my thoughts here, and you have your thoughts there, and we each have our own little ponds of a mind that reflects our little mirages in, and that's about how much we'd know. But this is the Bodhisattva Mahasatva. He has access to everybody's mind. The Buddha himself in this has access to everybody's mind. He's the one that has the power to have Shariputra ask his question. So we recognize that this mind can be actually very expansive and actually connect everyone's minds together. Actually, that is what form and emptiness can be. Now, the last thing I'll say about form and emptiness, I'm changing it pretty quickly, but do meditate on that last piece. Is that this is a union. Form and emptiness is a union. If you fixate to form, recognize its emptiness. If you fixate to emptiness, recognize that it's only form. It's a union. The thing is, we oftentimes think when we see it written in English, but just any language that says form emptiness, we think that what this is saying is form, is emptiness, which means you have one thing and then another thing, and thus two things. Then the is, but it's not like that. It's like this. They are fully together, fully. Form and emptiness is one. Form emptiness. You can even hyphenate form emptiness, emptiness form. One thing. It's one thing. It's a union. Now, when you think, a thing, well, now we've objectivated it into a form. So it's a little bit, you don't really, that's one reason you don't want to go too crazy. You start objectifying, form emptiness is a thing, and then for it's a form now, it's like we're objectifying it, and we're over here, form emptiness is over there, I have discovered form emptiness. No. Form emptiness is everything, including me. It pervades everything. It's the union of everything. The union. It's the union. So that's sometimes hard to get, but you'll find that the mind oftentimes fixates to one or the other. So when you recognize one, you start fixating to one side, like, I'm meditating and I'm like, oh yes, emptiness. It's all empty of nature. See the form. And when you see form and you're like, gosh, this form is getting the best of me. This day is going a different way than I want. See the emptiness. In that way, you can see the light in each other. You can see that it's form and emptiness together always. There's never a point in time without the other. You do not have to beat yourself up over fixating. Because as you fixate, you're fixating to the union. If you recognize it for what it is, which is the shadow of one is in the other. Always. Form is emptiness. Emptiness is form. We're going to go real quick here because we're almost to the end of time. In the same way, feeling, discrimination, formation, and consciousness are emptiness. Feeling. Well, feeling's transient, that's for sure. It's also, either feeling like, ooh, that's a sense, but feeling, my emotions feeling. Yeah, okay, well, it's empty. It's empty that what it's about is empty because it's it's transient. I mean, I say super transient, but yes, it's just transient. It's the same speed. It's just transient. But yeah, feeling, right? So what you're feeling about, and it's also just within your mind. It's all happening in your mind. So that's empty too. So you got emptiness on two fronts, right? But it still appears. So you see the form. I still feel whatever it is, I feel excited right now, maybe. Or I don't feel excited, I feel kind of sad, or this is boring or something. Those feelings that happen, those are transient. Also, they are illusory because they're happening just within the mind itself. They're not happening anywhere else but mind. And because of that, we can let them go because they're just mental fixations. And then they just drift away because they're not really real. Because they're transient. But then they appear, so that's okay. So they're a form. Form and emptiness. Together at last. So discrimination. This is good, this is bad. We do that all the time. Or this is that. We do that all the time. This is that. It's empty. The big one that we do is good and bad. And that's really the best place to start. This is good, this is bad. Oh, I like that taste, I don't like that. I like this, I don't like that. That's all empty. It's transient, for one. And it's inaccurate because it's all within your mind, so you could change that. So the only person who's saying it's one way or the other is your mind. And the mind itself is foundationless. So, right? I like peanut butter. I was like, oh, I really love peanut butter. But if I ate a lot of peanut butter so much that I got really, really sick one day, maybe I wouldn't like the peanut butter anymore. Right? And so, also, if I train myself away from peanut butter by creating other circumstances, causes, and conditions around the peanut butter that I was eating, my like for it would go away, and so it's empty. The goodness of the peanut butter is just something that is being discriminated based on mind, an empty faculty, a faculty of that doesn't really actually do any, isn't providing any truth. And it's fun. It's fun not to live in the truth. I mean, it's fun to have likes and dislikes. Trust me, I like things and don't like other things. But it's best to know that those likes and dislikes are empty. So that when someone else comes and says, oh, you're wrong, you're like, oh, okay, I'm not really attached to that at all. Because I know that it's an illusion. My likes and dislikes are just empty of nature. They just appear in the mind, and they're transient. Formation. New things appear. So the mind, just like a dream, you go to sleep. In the dream, all of a sudden, forms appear. Whoa, you go into a different world, maybe a different body. Wow. And you wake up the next day, you're like, wow, here I am again. Forms appear again. You open your eyes. Whoa, I'm in my bed. That was a really vivid dream. Well, there you go. Formation. It's just forming in your mind, and the formations themselves entirely dissipate. I mean, I love peekaboo, right? Peekaboo, right? We do that with little kids, babies. I think it's hilarious because they're like, where the heck did that guy go? That's actually a little bit more authentic. Where the heck did that guy go? Actually, in that moment, that person wasn't present. And then, there they are again. Wow, little appearance of permanence. But that's totally transient. That person, the next moment, is entirely different than the next moment. Also, the echoing effect. It's even through all my sense objects, I'm getting past information that's a few nanoseconds old or whatever. Illusory also is just founded in my own mind. Like me seeing this guy doing the peekaboo is just happening in my mind. Whoa, that's a wild projection of the mind. You know, not my mind, but the mind. Everything's just mind. Formation and consciousness. Oh wow, even my own consciousness. Yeah, your own consciousness. Oh, you hold that so dear. I'm conscious of this, conscious of that. Yeah, you go to sleep, you're unconscious. Whoop, gone. Poof. I guess it's empty because it's really transient. Sometimes also you're daydreaming. One moment you're present and you're like, I'm conscious. Trust me, professor, as you're sitting in class. Or trust me, teacher, you're sitting in class. Or trust me, boss, as the boss is telling you what to do. I'm paying attention, you say. I'm conscious, right? And then literally the next second, all of a sudden it's like, oh my gosh, what am I going to have for lunch? Well, it sounds pretty good. What did I pack? Did I pack a lunch? So I'm going to go out for lunch. Do I not have any lunch? Oh. Guess where your mind's at? Are you conscious? Is that... You say, yeah, well, I'm conscious both times. Well, okay, is that transient? Is it empty? Ah, for sure. For sure. Whatever you're attentive to is empty. Also, you can quickly become unconscious. Empty. Also, it's happening all in your mind. What you even call conscious or unconscious is just manufactured by your own, you're like, oh, I'm conscious now, right? Oh, then you don't feel present, and then you might not even have a chance to even say that you're conscious or unconscious. In a daydream, someone's asking you a question, they're like, are you conscious? You're like, huh? Right? Huh? What? Oh, sorry, I was long gone. I was thinking about lunch. Empty. Thus, Shariputra, all phenomena are emptiness, without characteristics, without arising, without ceasing, without staying, not without staying, without decrease, and without increase. And this is where we're going to leave it today because we're almost out of time. Which is actually good because the rest, it gets pretty detailed. But this is just going into all phenomena and all of the things that we hold so dearly that we're like, no, that's an exception. That is not empty, right? Thus, all phenomena are emptiness without characteristics. Yeah, without characteristics. In emptiness, there's no characteristics. Now you say, well, of course there's characteristics. Look around you. There's blue, right? Blue. And then you take this away, and now it's like clear or something. And then blue. And then clear again. Yeah. That's what it appears as, but when you actually look at the nature of the mind, there's nothing there. And also, when you actually look at the nature of transience, both situations were so transient that actually in their transience, there's nothing there to capture. So even the moment you said it was blue, there is, like, you're talking about something that's like a mirage. Because the blueness that you're actually ascribing to it is transient, is old. It's old information that you're actually getting. So you're actually talking about something that you don't know if it's true or not. Right? You don't know if I'm so fast. Oh, you're like, blue, oh, blue, oh, blue. Like, no, but that's, you might think, oh, that's just a mind trick, but it's transient. When we think that this is stable, that's how we don't let go of it. When someone, if someone comes in the room and is like, this is what's emptiness, and he grabs it and just throws it out the window, this person just throws it out. I'm like, I didn't expect that at all. Well, we don't know what's going to happen the next moment. We don't even get the information about this moment. Recognizing that emptiness is actually the name of the game, that everything is empty because we do not have control over the direct interdependence of the entire universe for the next nanosecond, anything can appear in front of us. And yes, there are lots of scientific ways that we think, okay, yes, this could happen. But if right now there was just a small little change, the whole Earth just boom, gone, right? One little tiny solar flare, boom. Something just changes that we didn't know, we didn't expect, boom, gone. Right? But we think we know. And because of that, we think that things have characteristics, but it doesn't have characteristics in this empty quality. In this empty quality of this unknowing, this fact that everything is just transient, which means that we do not know it fully. We do not actually know the thing that we are trying to grasp. And it's empty because of its unknowing quality, the fact that we cannot know of it directly. We don't know it directly. And then it's existing in a mind that is, only when we look at it, entirely empty of nature. And everything just appears as a reflection of that mind. When you recognize that, there is no characteristics in that at all. No characteristics. Now, sure, you say no characteristics, and then you go, oh, wait, there's all this stuff, and then you're like, oh, wait, I remember, yeah, it's all empty, all right. No characteristics in that emptiness, even though everything appears temporarily. That appearance is an illusion. It's empty. Right, okay. Now we're getting it, right? No formation. Let's see, actually, no. Okay. No, without characteristics, I skipped that. Without arising, without ceasing. That sharp are often on emptiness without characteristics, without arising, without ceasing. Yeah, in emptiness they don't arise. We've never, because again, as I said, we've never actually seen the actual version of reality. It's so transient that what we see is an echo. I'm saying it's an echo. The echo is the closest thing I can metaphorically think about it. We're getting like a mirage of what it could have been maybe some amount of time before. We don't actually access it directly. So because of that, there is no arising. It doesn't actually arise. The stuff around us actually doesn't arise. It's just the mirage of it arising or appearing out of last second's gone. Where'd that go? Again, without ceasing. Now that thing ceased. You say, oh, that thing ceased a second ago. It was right here, This was right here a second ago, and now it's gone, Yeah, that didn't cease. That moment that passed is not, it's gone, but it didn't cease. It was always empty. It's empty. It never arose and it never ceased. It's unborn. It's unborn. It never actually arose. What we're seeing is really just a mirage or echo or dream, something like that. But even that, even dream, we think it's very accessible, directly accessible. It's not directly accessible. We are interacting with something that is passing. And it's never, even the moments we try to grab it because we're like, oh, it's there, it's gone. Poof. Without stain, not without stain. And when we say something has stain or not stain, it's bad or good. So it doesn't actually have any of that. It's without stain because that's just something that is applying. The mind applies to things. It discriminates, says, oh yeah, that's discriminating. Like this is good. This is bad. Some of us might think one of these is good. Some of us might think one of these is bad. Some of us might think one of these is helpful. Some of us might think one of these things is useless. So we'd say, oh yes, right now everything's going good. Oh wait, no, next moment something bad happened. No, but that's just really applying it to myself again. And the self, as you look at, it's just the mind, and its foundation it doesn't have a solid foundation as real, because it's so transient and illusory and without stability, so it's empty. So then nothing actually is stained. Anyone that says it's stained or wrong is fixating to the reality of it. But then also it appears. So saying that it's not without stain is kind of silly, because there is actually appearance that appears. And even though the mirage is like not real, it's still mirages. It still appears, even though it's not real. And so as a mirage, all sorts of people say it has stains. And those people, you can't say, oh, they're not real. They don't exist. No, they clearly appear. So their perspectives on things appear. And so even though they're not founded in true reality, they appear in the mirage. So you can't actually say it's not without stain either. So if someone says that's, if I was to spill wine on this, I'd say, well, this isn't really, spill wine. Actually, there is a little stain, like some sort of coffee stain on this. So this coffee ring right here, this is both empty and it's stainless because it doesn't actually exist anywhere but your mind, and it's totally transient. And at the same time, it appears. So it appears as a stain. So I can't say that it's doesn't have stain at all. Completely. The mirage appears the stain, but it's actually stainless without stain at the same time because of its emptiness. Form is emptiness, emptiness is form. So we're going to end it here today. And the last thing I'll say before we break is this is difficult to our ego minds to grok. This is very difficult for our ego minds to like. We do not like this because it's threatening, and we want to take either I don't have to do anything, so I just give up, or I'm just going to become, more and more neurotic, or saying, oh, I know it, I get it, it's all perfect, everything's wonderful, and, just saying that constantly to ourselves. This is the Bodhisattva Mahasattva's message to us. We need love. And the reason that we need love is because all of this heady stuff that I'm describing is not, now this is the fun part, just like this sutra, these are words. The words, even though they are powerful words spoken by the Buddha, by someone that's enlightened, are words within your mind. And because of that, you can fixate to these words. Fixating to the words won't help. Relaxing in love, taking a break after this teaching, sitting down and just resting with devotion that everything is in union. Form and emptiness are in perfect union together. There's nothing to worry about because of emptiness, and all form that you've ever known appears out of great compassion. In great compassion, you have access to all of it. That is how there can be a direct experience beyond just these words. With great compassion, the 5 skandhas are empty of nature. With great compassion, there is only emptiness, form, form, emptiness. Always. In union. No separation. Appearance of separation in form. Appearance of no separation in emptiness. Unified. Stretch that heart out wide as you possibly can, for all the entire universe. And with this open, wide open heart, see. See that this is within you. See that these two seemingly extreme things are one. See that there's no reason anymore for fear. There's no reason anymore for fixation. And yet, every time that you have fear or fixation, because of this nature of emptiness, it is instantly seen as faultless, in its place as empty. This has tremendous power to liberate you. And not liberate you into an egocentric maniac, but liberate you as an effortless, all-compassionate Buddha. That is my aspiration for you. And that is your heart's aspiration reflected back. We're going to do a brief dedication. So again, all of this merit, all of this effort that we've had today listening to these teachings, thinking about this, analyzing it, working with our minds, working with our hearts. We've done this for the benefit of all. So we're going to dedicate all possible virtue that we've gotten back to them, for those that cannot even begin to recognize form and emptiness, emptiness and form. By this merit, may all attain perfect awakening, rising above all forces of negativity, going beyond the ocean of samsara. May we find liberation in the turbulent waves of birth, old age, sickness, and death. And that doesn't mean that they won't, because actually it's just the nature of things. Everyone has the intrinsic ability to recognize form, emptiness, emptiness, form. Everybody. But some do not have the causes and conditions to have it directly taught to them right now. And so, out of our permeating love, we send that virtue out again to them, so that they will also have that opportunity in the future to recognize this and to be liberated from fear, liberated from concern, and also liberated from egocentric mind states that create very small worlds. Liberated into actually the all-expansive loving essence. That's what we all are here for. It's what we all have the opportunity to accomplish. Sending you all of the love from the very heart of the universe. Wherever you are, thank you so much for joining this teaching. I hope that it is directly applicable in your life and that you find this truth within. Till next time, please be well.